I got a 19.
That's pretty good.
What a way to start the episode.
Right.
Oh, I love that. The meme, it's the meme. And if you don't know what the meme is, follow us on TikTok. Never mind. I'm not shameless plug over. Hello. Welcome to episode 21 of Me Time. My goodness.
Hello again.
Hello again. I'm going to stop saying this every episode. It's so surreal we come this far. When I'm editing the episodes, I'm like, get on with it.
Yeah.
We're 21 episodes in. Who cares? Keep going. Let's go. You know?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But it's still fun. It's still fun to talk about that. Oh, how far we come.
Yeah. Well,
And, yeah.
In the short time period, it was quite nice.
It's lovely. Yeah. No, and the reception, especially the view count for episode 12 at the moment, is just mind-boggling. I like
That's
nuts. 1,000 awesome people taking the time to watch an episode about us talking about an anime. Love you all.
Wow.
You're all gems. You're just like divine. Thank you so much.
It's funny in our sort of year plan where they're going 1,000. I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure. Maybe in the year, maybe not. Maybe 2 years time.
Yeah.
Say it's like one episode is like fair play. We'll take it. I'm not. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here we are. Huh?
Mm.
Who would have thought it? Us two sitting here. Who would have guessed?
Have a good old chat.
Have a good old chat. Yeah. Ah. Anyways, let's get on to today's topic because that's why you're here. We're going to continue with our game agenda, and we're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons today. Hence the dice at the start of the game. The game? Whoa! Start of the episode. Yeah, rolling the dice. Yeah. This one's gonna be good fun because it's a very meaningful one to us when we're talking about games. Dungeons and Dragons was always going to be a topic. Halo Reach was always going to be first because that's our favorite video game. But at the moment, oh yeah, pure nostalgia. But Dungeons and Dragons is currently my all-time favorite game of everything. Don't know if it's your favorite game.
To be honest, I'm kind of arrogant on it. I mean, I don't really play many games these days, and D&D sort of the one I play sometimes Warhammer, but D&D sort of my.
It's the thing that's taken control of my life, and I let it because I want to. I want to play D&D all the time, so I rarely have time to play video games anymore. But because I'm running so many D&D games and I'm planning and organising it, it is all of my time, and then it pays off, and I finally get to run these games, and it's just great fun. It just makes sense to me. But yeah, I mean, the whole element of D&D. Let's start with that, because for those of you that don't know Dungeons and Dragons, or have at least heard of it, first of all, welcome to the channel. I have Dungeons and Dragons videos for you to watch, for you to understand.
See all the episodes now.
Insert Realm of Desperos playlist here. Insert Adventures of the Lost Omens playlist here. No, I'm not going to be doing this. I'm not going to be doing this all episode because we're here to talk about D&D. I'm not here to persuade you to watch the Lost Omens. You can watch it if you want to watch it. We're just talking about D&D today. Granted, there will be Lost Omens conversations because that's how Elliott got into D&D. That's how I got him into D&D. Him as Goldrick and Navaric.
It is my first and only game.
Yeah.
D&D so far.
Yeah, that's his first playthrough, and look at him. He's on YouTube playing it. Friggin' fair play to him. But
Cameras are both sensible.
what makes Dungeons and Dragons unique is the lack of visuals. It's theatre of the mind. It's infinite immersion and different ways of thinking things about how a scene looks, and it doesn't have to be super bravado. It just has to be people together talking and having a general consensus about how things roll. Literally, you know?
It kind of feels like an interactive sort of book playing it. This all changes as the dice rolls, but then the narrative is kind of got an idea. Yeah.
So I remember my first sort of approach to this sort of, I don't know, theatre of the mind thing. Yes, you could say books when you're reading descriptions, but it is very linear. It is. The story is there for you. You can't change anything about the story. And every person will imagine a story ever so slightly different to the next. For instance, if I'm reading a Harry Potter book, I could think Harry Potter looks just like he's got a spherical face, and someone could think he's got a little bit of a curved chin as well, and he looks younger than he's supposed to on the box art or something like that. You know, that's just a really weak example. Or maybe the description of Voldemort, you know? Voldemort in the movies, he looks like a man with just no nose. But in the books, he's supposed to be quite snake-like. I remember my vision of Voldemort in the books was very similar to the movies. He was just a man with yellow eyes and just the nose like a snake and very grey, very just lack of humanity in them. And then everyone imagined him from the books themselves being just like literally an anthropomorphic snake sometimes as well, just like the Snake Man.
Yeah, I kind of thought that one reading it. I was like, and then the was again, oh, it's not what I thought. But fair enough.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling really did try to go with the snake look, but we're not going to talk about J.K. Rowling at all. Fuck you. The beach. We won't get into that. But after that, after the whole theatre of the mind book, there were these series of books that I got into for a very long time called Decide Your Destiny.
Oh, I've heard them.
So the premise of the book is there's a character that you follow, or there's not necessarily a character sometimes, it's just from your perspective. And you read the book through, and instead of it saying this is what happens next, the paragraph will end and it will give you a choice, A, B, C, or D. Sometimes just A or B, sometimes just A, B, C, maybe even more. You're approached, this person comes up to you, what do you do? Do you shake their hand? Do you walk the other way? Do you do this? Do you do that? And then when you say, oh, I'm going to do A, it says turn to page 294. Oh, I almost said the meme. 394. Mm-hmm. And you turn to that page and it carries on. And you're like, oh, wow. And then you're weaving through the book in your own unique way, creating your own path and your own story. So you think you have power and control over the story, you know? And that was different to me. I'd not experienced that before, because games where I have control on how the story ends, rather than I'm just a character here to see the story through and see how the story ends. I actively have control over the story and how it ends. And that was a little thing that in university I grew very, very interested in and did my research into, called agency. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
The term. I can't think of the term definition of it.
Yeah. So from my understanding of agency, you have parameters in a game. You do. A game is there. It's not infinite. There are parameters to it. But agency of narrative gives the player a certain freedom. It's how much freedom of this narrative does a player have? How much are they allowed to do? How much control are they allowed over gameplay and its mechanics to customize it to themselves? Granted, the definition of agency, I might not have nailed it there, but generally, in terms of a gaming perspective for a video game or a game in itself, it could be roughly around the mark there.
Yeah, I think you're on the right lines.
Yeah. So it interested me because I was playing for a time a game called Gary's Mod.
Blimey, that's miles back.
Yeah, I really wanted to throw that out there. If you know YouTube and you know Machinimas, you know Gary's Mod, you know the G Mods episodes, and all of the animations that we use with that, especially TF2.
So random.
Oh, I absolutely loved them. The G Mod episodes where people were just like ragdolling and using all of these. But G Mod, it was originally a mod for a game called Half-Life 2. And because the mod was so successful, the name Gary, the one that made the mod, turned it and made it into his own game. where it would just be this stockpile of modders and creators bringing in maps from games and making their own maps and putting on all of these mods and assets to just be like mods the game, add in all of your shit. There was no narrative to the game. You would make the narrative and you would put in characters into this game and create your own things. It was the most wild sandbox game there was. And the level of freedom I had in that game was like no other. But even though I thought like, I can add this mod, I can add this, and add this and this, there were still parameters. There was still the edge of the map. There was still like, I'm not going to bring in this groundbreaking mod to create a new game. There's still a limitation of this. And it's sometimes just like, yeah, but I want to go off and I want to go over. There's like a background to this map. I want to go over there and I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. There were still things I couldn't do in Gary's mod. There was a lot of things I could do, but there's still a lot of things that I couldn't do. Enter Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Now, I'm interested to hear about your perspective of Dungeons and Dragons first, because my perspective of Dungeons and Dragons technically wasn't Dungeons and Dragons first. It was a tabletop game first. Now, I've always been interested in it, but I was never really immersed in the whole concept of it. I knew it was people sitting around a table with a character sheet, rolling dice, and then the dungeon master would describe a story to them, and then people would just be like, oh cool, I do this, I do that. Okay, cool, then you attack this enemy. I was kind of aware of what Critical Role was, a very famous YouTube channel of D&D as well. I was just not really too interested in it and not aware of what it was. But I mean, I'm happy to dive into it, but I kind of want to hear from yourself.
My reference from D&D, because it sounds really out there, it's probably from Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
Like really vague, just like, oh, we're playing D&D, just off the cuff thing that was sort of said. I had no idea. I had no real details on what it entailed. To a degree, I think they may have played it or there was a short clip of them playing it on an episode or whatever.
Yeah.
But what it actually entailed, I had no idea until you kind of brought me into it. I think I've heard about it because I played Warhammer, and because Warhammer sort of in that same sort of area. I'd kind of heard about it through the grapevine sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go, oh, we've got a game going on. Do you want to give it a go? And it was sort of that was my sort of lead-ins and joining that sort of.
Yeah. And it's the curiosity of that really invited me into it. One of my good friends at university was speaking about a game. It was actually a tabletop game called Mutants and Masterminds. And it was all very superhero based. So he came up to me and said, like, I know you're interested in Dungeons and Dragons, because he spoke about it a lot and it was really cool. Like some of the stories that he had going up against dragons, saying that he could do loads of things. And that was the thing that hooked me. He said, if I say I want to do something, the Dungeon Master isn't going to say no. They're going to go like, if you want to do it, give it a go and roll the dice. I'm just like, wait. You mean I could say to this Dungeon Master, I'm going to turn around and leave? I could do that. Yeah, you could do that. But the dragon's going to chase you. He's not going to make it easy, or she's not going to make it easy. They're not going to make it easy. It's just like, I was thinking like, there's no limit to what I can do in this game, because there's no screen in front of me. There are no physical parameters. I can say like, what are my surroundings? Can I go this way? Can I go that way? The answer will be yes, unless the person goes just like, oh, that door's locked, or that door's locked. And I found that out when I played this game. It was just, I was so nervous at first because it's a performance. It is. You're with your friends, but then the Dungeon Master looks to you. You've got this character in front of you. You've written down all of the details about your character. You've got all the little numbers on your sheet to make all of your statistics specific to your character, to make your character unique. And then the dungeon master looks to you and goes, "What are you gonna do? Cry? I don't know."
It's so weird, kind of like trying to think you kind of thinking from someone else's perspective automatically. Like your character's someone different. It's kind of weird. Like my first character I created, I think, Goldrick. It's funny, dead. Anyway, I created him in the idea that he was a berserker. That his main sort of goal is a sort of risk taker to a degree. Completely out of my comfort zone. Like I know myself. I'm there going, I'm not very good at risk taking. I can do it sometimes, but not very well. I kind of thought, sod it. Let's do something completely opposite to who I am. I'm going to do Goldrick. I'm going to do it with Berserker. And it was funny, like, you put certain situations in the way that, again, God, usually think of a plan how to do the situation. They're going, oh, God, I'm a Berserker. I may as well do something really stupid and see what happens. Just roll the dice and sort of like, go for it.
You found
yeah, I literally found out there and then. I was like, it's a character, we'll go for it.
We'll get to that.
But it's hilarious. I was like, I'll go something opposite. Let's give it a go. Let's try something different.
Yeah. That's what I like. It's, you have these games, and I'm going to go back to this.
I still quite act as
you don't have to. I mean, people think D&D is all theatrics and doing a deep voice or making a really weird character and having to commit to that character. Yes, you've got to commit to your character, but no one's asking you to be an A-level actor. No one's asking you to be Matt Mercer. No one's asking you to come in full costume, being like, all the elves and the goblins have spoken to me and my destiny is calling. I mean, that would be cool. But, no one's asking you to do that. Everyone's asking you to just have fun. And that's what I liked. It continued, and I will go back to this element of agency, because I wonder, does one play a narrative to learn about a story, or does one get intrigued on a game because of all of the capabilities that they can do, of breaking of a reality in itself? Obviously, we have rules. Obviously, there's so many things we can't do. We don't have jetpacks. We don't have the ability to jump and evade like an elite in Halo Reach. I don't have the ability to conjure magic missile. I don't have the ability to walk up to a bartender and basically headbutt him and say, just like, I'm not going to pay 5 gold for this. I'm going to pay 3 gold for this. Yeah. There are things that you can do that's the breaking of reality. It's escapism. Hence the title. So I wonder, because this was a big interest in mine, is the joy of games like D&D, the story, is the captivation of the story and learning things about the story, or is it the extent of what you can and cannot do?
As a whole one.
I really wanted to get into that today.
I'm a bit of both, to be honest. I'm going because I'm a bit of a lore nerd. Like anything lore. I was like
really interested to
lore
hear
nerd.
this. Yeah.
So like anything sort of like story, like whenever we find like a new group or a new character in a current story, and they're going, "That's so cool."
I love it when that happens.
Yeah,
when your eyes light up and I introduce something new in the story, and you're just like, "Oh,
yeah." And then you like listen to another character sort of origin kind of gets deeper. They're going, there's more stuff. There's stuff you didn't tell me about. Sweet.
Proud DM this.
And then I guess, and in that same breath, like, like as much as you are finding the lawyer, they're going, I'm kind of just out relaxing. Probably good we're at pub currently, just having a pint and again. I clock off from 9 to 5. It's sweet, but at the same time, you kind of get that sort of fresh perspective on a different story and a different
I
sort of way
like
of thinking.
that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a combination of both for D&D, which is what I wanted to get into, because there are games like Gary's Mod where there's no narrative at all. You're not compelled by a story. There's nothing to discover about a central campaign, because there's nothing. It's just modding the game. You can create a story, you can create a map, and you can create your own story, sure, but that's still agency. You've had control of mechanics given to you to create something, given a breadth of things to do. And D&D, my favorite thing to do as a dungeon master, as the one that runs the game and creates the world and makes the experience for the players, my favorite all-time thing to say is, what are you guys doing? That's one of my favorite things to say, because a gameplay like a linear narrative in, let's say, Call of Duty, for example, you've got missions, and they're set missions. They will always start and they will always end the same way. But it's a story. It's like a movie. You're there to navigate your way through it and to discover all these characters and discover what the story is. And the campaign mission ends, and you're like, oh, that character did something, or they passed away, or we're gonna go here next in the story. And as with that, you get an objective. You've got to do this. But with D&D, the objective is just like, do whatever the frig you want. Just like, what are you guys doing? I've described the setting. There's a tavern in front of you. You've got a field to your right. You've got woods over there. You've got a cliff face over there. I am not telling you what to do. Just do whatever you want. I'm going to go to the woods. I'm going to go to the tavern. I'm going to do this. I'm going to practice the skills on the field. Do whatever you want. And it's that freedom that really gives you this golden agency of like, this is a brand new world where I can not only be a new character and do all of these fantastical things, but I can do literally whatever I want. And I'm not saying that there's quite a lot of things that you shouldn't do. But like, for example, if everyone's basically doing one thing, and if they're just all on the consensus of just like, oh, we're all gonna head into this cave together, and this one character turns around and goes, this isn't what my character would do, I'm gonna stay out here. Sometimes I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying, just like, it can be a bit of a drag if you don't throw yourself in and try and enjoy yourself with everyone. If it's what your character would do, sure. Maybe it's sometimes this agency can cause chaos on the table. It can. But I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on that.
I think about that. I guess, yeah, you've got agency. Maybe it's like an unspoken etiquette, maybe like the unspoken rules sort of thing. Like, you know, as much as your character may not do something in the situation that you're in, and because it is D&D sort of thing, maybe on that occasion you've got to break character just a little bit, just to interact with the story and sort of see what happens.
It's
like, not is that too much to your character to a degree, because you've got to interact with the story.
And I think it's purely because it's not necessarily what your character would do. There is a literal human in front of you, behind a screen, that has gone to the extent to create a fictitious world, or find a world, find a story that has been created, and they're the ones delivering it to you. So, I don't know, from a perspective of a dungeon master, myself, I love it when people have a laugh. I don't care if people are interested in my world or not. I just want them to have fun. I want my world to have playability. I'm really blessed that the elements of the world and the story and the plot and the lore are interesting to the players at the moment, to my Lost Omen team, and to most of the players that I have DM'd before as well. Everyone's to some extent been like, oh, that's really interesting. I don't know. It's a blessing to have my friends come up to me and say just like, I've come up with a theory of the direction of your story. I'm like, man, sit down, talk to me. What do you think's gonna happen? And every time that they've said something, they've always been wrong. I'm saying that now. It's always been just like, I think this could happen. I think this could happen. Oh, hey, cool. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not gonna happen. But cool.
God damn it.
Keep theorizing, or I could be lying.
Yeah.
Or I could be lying. It could happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I know, but you don't.
Yeah.
I just flipped the camera off. That's delightful. But it's, again, we'll tone it back a bit and less about like how a dungeon master is proud of their work, and more why D&D became so popular. Because
had a renaissance. It's had a renaissance, I'd say. It sort of appeared and then disappeared and then reappeared again.
Yeah, it's no hidden fact that D&D is quite popular on social media at the moment. YouTube and TikTok especially. D&D is quite a big thing. A lot of people are playing it. Critical Role has got millions of subscribers and they're touring all over America, playing D&D in crowds of hundreds to thousands of people. You've got loads of other celebrities here in the UK. We've got UK actors that have just started their own team and they've started doing a D&D podcast as well. Like, everyone's playing it. If you don't play it, you at least know about it. And it's quite fascinating to me at the pub when I say, oh, we're doing Dungeons and Dragons tonight. They either go, oh yeah, I know D&D, or they go, oh, I've heard of it, but I've never played it. The only people that have said to me that, what's D&D, have been, quite young. People that are quite young.
There's a really great interview that I keep remembering. Speaking of sort of creating planet, is Deborah Ann Wool from Daredevil and John Bernthal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short clip, and it's just so John Bernthal is just one of those guys who you would not even think would be thinking about D&D sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Deborah just sort of subtly drops in the fact that, oh, I play groups and I play D&D sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And John is just kind of like curious. He goes like, it's almost foreign to him in how it's sort of described to him. And Deborah's there going, oh, I could do a session right now, right in this room. John's thinking, really? Yeah, no, I could do it right now. And
really? On the spot?
Yeah. And Deborah literally puts the story in front of him on the spot. I mean, of course, she improvises slightly because she has to, in the situation she's in. But John's is put in a situation where he's making choices there and then, and you could tell that he's thinking about stuff. And Deborah's there putting stars in his way, sort of just for 3-5 minutes, and then John's there going, "Oh wow, that's so weird." Like, it's kind of interesting the transition in which you go into to just sort of like step inside a character that you don't even know about.
It's the unknown.
Even sort of Deborah sort of says, oh, there's someone in her D&D group where they picked a character where he thought he was sort of I'd like a, what was it? I don't know if I could be completely remembering it wrong, but I think it's like he's sort of like a noble sort of knight or that stuff, and he's put into a situation where he sort of breaks the nobility, and he thought all through the game that he would be noble all the way through, and she was like, oh yeah, and in this situation he wasn't able to do that. And that's kind of also what's good about D&D. Like when you create a character, you've kind of got an idea where you want them to go, but in the same breath, you also hope the dice give you the right direction you want them to go.
Yeah. Definitely, that's what I wanted to get into, because everyone just goes like, the one thing that gets to me, it shouldn't, but if I won, how do you win D&D? And everyone rolls their eyes in response when I say, well, it's not as simple as that. It's not about winning. Like, oh, why should I play? Because
it's more experience, I'd say.
Yeah. You go, okay, for example, you walk into a tavern and you get a mean look from a half-orc across the bar. What do you do? I'm not. There is no indicator to the dungeon master to say, like, you have to go up to this half-orc. A character go like, well, I'm going to avoid them. I'm actually, you know what? The half-orc has really annoyed me. I'm going to go over and say, stop staring at me. Yeah. I'm going to go over and try to befriend the orc. I'm going to go over to his mates and persuade his mates that he's a pillock, you know?
Yeah.
You know? You could do whatever you want in that situation, but the dungeon master, it's their job to add flavour to a scene, to add interest and intrigue to a scene. There's no use walking into a tavern that's empty and remains empty for no reason. He's just like, oh, it's just another Sunday, you know? You walk into a tavern, why is it empty? Why is old Granny Norma sat on that table over there? And it's like, ever since my husband died, I've been looking at the fire ever since. Okay, so she's just senile.
If you watch Lost Omens, Matt's accents are awesome. Just a heads up. Like,
I have fun.
Yeah,
I have fun with it. Again, I mean, the whole voice thing for D&D, that's something I taught myself how to do. You don't have to do it, but for a very long time, I tried to be a voice actor because whole video games and movies, I remember with Transformers as a kid, I was just like, I really like how deep and gravelly and metallic these voices are. They sound really just, So I remember as a kid, I practiced those voices. I put my voice low, and then I started to figure out how to close my throat. And the next thing I know, I'm just going like, you'll regret this, Prime. Just like stuffing like that. And I'm saying that in the corner of my room as I'm picking up that. And then I was practicing my heroic voice. It's like, not today, Megatron. Something like that. And then that's not really a good Optimus voice, but you know, I'm practicing these voices and I'm doing it more and more and more. And I'm watching these voices on TV channels, and a voice gets really entertaining. And I really enjoy impersonating them, you know? I just, whenever I create a character, because it's a world, it's supposed to be full of people and things and characters. The voice for the voice, it's great. Sometimes it's the voice first. Sometimes it's the name of the character first. Sometimes it's the idea of the character, you know? And I just create it and it all ties together. And in the end, no character will ever sound the same, you know? Every character will be subtly different. Their appearance will be different. And I'll just come in and I'll just try. And it's the voice sometimes and the way that I describe the character that adds that style to the game that I really, really enjoy. And everyone will imagine them the same way. For instance, I'd say like someone walks into a room, she's a tall woman, she's equipped in normal leather armor, and she's got a brown ponytail. Sometimes that's all you really need. Or sometimes you walk into a room, you can't help but notice there's an eye patch across her face. And she's got a red scar just underneath the brown strap as well. Her chin seems pushed into her jaw line, which is almost an impossible feat as well. And her ponytail has been braided in an oddly specific way with 3 individual knots in the back as well. You know, sometimes you just be like, "Who? Why does she look like that? Or why do they look like that?" And then she just, you know, it's that sort of stuff. I enjoy just making things as stylistic as possible. That's just the fun that I have with the game. And everyone thinks, you know, you have to do it. No, you don't. You've just got to provide the details. Like I said, a woman walks into a bar. She's got leather armor on and she's got a brown ponytail. Bob's your uncle. You know, you don't have to go to the extent that some dungeon masters go to describe a situation. Sometimes simple is better. If you walk into a room that's nothing but a room, it's just like it's a square room with it's blank, not much details, you know, and nothing's really interesting in here. And then to put a flip on this, and to go back to what I said originally about the dice and the way that a player moves the game, the dungeon master might provide the world, and one might think they're the one creating the story. Yes, but it's the player's actions that create the story, in my opinion. I'm prepping for what the players could do. Now, the beauty of it is that I can't prep for anything. I can't prep for everything. It's ultimately the way that the players navigate through the game and their decisions and what they do, whether they decide to defeat someone or not, whether they decide to engage in one route or not. They could be walking forward the whole time and then suddenly they decide to turn left at the last minute, you know?
Or commit arson.
Or commit... All these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle. Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm gonna get to that. I'll get to my fun D&D stories in a bit. I just want to unpack the whole dice thing, because on top of that, you could think as a character, well, naturally, I'm a really good fighter. So I'm gonna walk in and I'm gonna smack this half orc around the face, and he's gonna be knocked out cold. I mean, if you want that to happen, my retort to that would be, if you really want that to happen and guarantee that is going to happen, write a book. Because here's the fun bit of D&D. That might not happen. Roll the dice. The highest score, you're going to get a better chance of doing it. If you roll a high number, you smack him around the face. He seems a bit bruised, but he's not on the floor. You roll a low number, you hit his cheek and you break your knuckle. He is much more stoic and rock solid than you think he is.
I think it's probably...
You've bitten off more than you can chew.
It's very wise to say, like, as much as you're DMing it, like, you're rolling the dice for the character, like, as much as, like... So, like, you roll your character's dice, and you roll the dice for the character. Like, it's not... It's hopefully not preempted. Like, it's... Dice is the main thing, rather than sort of like, oh, you planned my character to die. No.
Yeah.
Like, no. The dice sort of... what's the word? No, the dice decide the fate of the character.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is the dice giveth and the dice taketh away.
Yeah.
I mean, after I played this Mutants and Masterminds thing, and I was getting really careful. I didn't want my character to get hurt. So I was sticking to the storyline, and I was just like, oh, I'm really nervous. I don't know what to do. And the Dungeon Master was just like, well, you see that person over there? Do you want to go and talk to them? Yeah, I will. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a punch to just be like, oh, I'll go over and do this. I don't know, you know? But after that, my first session of Dungeons and Dragons, I sat down and made myself a half-elf sorcerer. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to really go for it with the backstory. I really want my character to tell a story. I really want to go to the nitty-gritty details, and I want this character to be a hero. I want them to sing a swan song and just be like, destiny is all, you know, sort of stuff, you know? So I play the game, I get into the groove of it, and my character isn't the main character energy that I thought they were. They're just part of the crew. And every time a character speaks, I go to speak, and then another player speaks, and I'm just like, ooh, okay, I'll hold back. And then when it's my turn to speak, I always throw out a question. I'm just like, why did I just ask that? It's like, you know, things change in the game. Your character changes, your actions change, your motivations change. The way that you think as a player affects the way that your character plays. And sometimes you can really drop yourself and immerse yourself as that's what my character would do. But sometimes an element happens in the game where you're just like, how do I navigate through this bit? Because it's still a game. You have to try and figure things out. And ultimately, my half-elf sorcerer was... He got quite far, and he was rolling quite well with combat. But one time, he rolled really bad, and it cost him his life. And that was the end of my half-elf sorcerer. It's just, yeah. And it was as simple as that's part of the story. That is, you may have thought that your character would save the world and save the realm and do all of these wonderful things, but actually, his place in this story was that. He was always meant to pass away there. And I was gutted.
Oh, man.
I was gutted, but in hindsight, I just think that makes it. It's the shock value of just like, wow, did I just lose the game? Or wow.
The first death saving rolls is like, oh, so first character they're going, oh boy, I'm here now. Oh, like I remember Golgi sort of going down there again. Ooh, done something wrong here.
Yeah.
Oh no. And then you go,
have consequences.
and then you go. So Elliot, you ready to roll your death saving rolls?
Yeah.
You no.
Yeah. Are you ready to roll death saving throws? No.
Not really.
No one's ready. Yeah. I remember where I was when I was running my first set of death saving throws. It was morbid. It's nice. It's the character that you've crafted and you've created. They're yours. There's been no limitations to it at all. I am going to get into something a little bit about the races and the classes for D&D, because I do want to jump back to that. But there's almost that for your backstory and who they are and what they look like and what they sound like and what they do, that's all up to you. And it is a character that you have lovingly created with, again, no limitations, and you just threw them into the world. They're sort of like an extension, a real raw extension of you. So when that character suffers and when that character sort of passes away, you're just like, a part of you is just like, with a video game, sometimes you're playing as someone else, or you're playing as a digital character that you might care about. They're not an extension of you. You're just watching someone else's story. But in D&D, you're watching your own story, and it gets quite intense. I also, before jumping on to a little bit more about agency, like it when backstory is included in the game. You know?
When you build off of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a dungeon master creates there has to be a foundation. There's got to be a world, and there's got to be a main aim for your characters to do. There's got to be some sort of thing that they're all interested in doing. And there's got to be, whether that's whether that's a whole villainous plot, whether that's you're navigating through caves, finding something, helping someone, there's got to be something there for them to do. But it's when a character is introduced to the game that someone's created, where, for example, they say, I got my powers from a dragon. Okay, that's cool. And then in one of the scenes, the dungeon master turns around and goes, you see a scroll in the corner of the room with a sketching on it of a half-elf next to a dragon blowing fire and magic on them. You just be like, is that my back? Is that me? Is that me? True story. That happened to me in my first D&D session. I remember I was trying to investigate something on a train, a murder, sort of like a murder mystery thing in a way, kinda. And there were these two children there, that were near the scene when it popped off, and I went over to them and it's just like, hey kids, what did you see? I'll give you like a copper coin and tell me the truth. And then they were just like, yeah, we saw this person walk in there. This person never left the room, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, what are you drawing there? And I saw that they were, the way that the dungeon master was describing the scene, they were drawing something on a piece of paper. And they said, we're drawing you. And they held it up, and it was me as a half-elf with golden dragon wings breathing fire.
Oh, sweet.
And I was just like, that was my genuine reaction. I remember I was like, oh, okay, that's my backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, and I instantly became invested in my character. I was like, I want to find more about my own character in this world. There's clearly things about my character that I don't know yet, and that's so fucking thrilling.
Yeah.
You've reached the middle of the episode. That means you've liked what you've listened to so far. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share us in all your social medias. It helps out a bunch, and we love that you're watching. So you know what? I'm just going to stop talking, and you just carry on with the episode. Go!
My own character, and I'm discovering stuff about it. The next campaign I did with that character, I went to the library and I did my research about like my race's history, and there was mysteriously, not much about my ancestry, and I was just like, that's accurate to my story, that's really cool. And then right before my character died, I found a book enchanted with magic, and the DM was just like, yeah, you're really intrigued by this book. I'm like, yeah, I am. I die. I'm like, okay, guess we'll never know. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But there you go. I don't know what your experience is of that.
Yeah, so I guess I built. I guess before we go to Navarre, really, I think I've sort of built my foundations off of Navarre, and then as Navarre sort of lived a bit longer than Goldrick, like you've added to his backstory just subtly, sort of every couple of sessions. So like you kind of have an idea for where you're starting from, and then we go to like we go to a scenario. And then just by the roll of that dice, you know, more stories added to the Navarre in that scene. It's hilarious. And then Richie's character recently kind of I haven't had it much interaction with Richie's lore as of recently. So finding out about Fananil's sort of origins and sort of stuff again. That's so cool. And then Ben just recently as well going, oh, you're similar to me. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Just like learning about other characters as well.
Yeah.
And the beauty is not every character will see eye to eye, and it adds a bit of a dynamic. Like if you want to act in certain ways and this, that, and the other, ultimately you're a team and you should stick together. I get that.
Yeah.
But it just adds. It's chaos. It can be chaos sometimes. And on that note, there is something on my mind I do want to talk about in regards to agency. You have all this freedom to do what you want in D&D, but again, would one argue there's still a limitation? Because sometimes there are things that people would do in the game and everyone is just like, why would you do that? Come on. It's like, because I want to. And additionally to that, the game is, you got a rule book. And how you play is there's so many different classes, but what if you look at those classes and you're like, oh, I don't want to be any of them. You look at all of the different types of races for D&D in the world. I don't want to be one of those races. I want to be my own class. I want to be my own race. Yes, people create characters. It's called homebrew. They homebrew and create their own characters and their own classes. But I don't know necessarily your thoughts on that, because I've got my thoughts on that. There's breaking agency. There's sometimes it almost could appear that one is trying to design a character in more favor of themselves, so they have a stronger chance of winning the game, bending the rules. Then they join the game and they're so set on doing something that everyone else is just like, what are you doing? We're clearly doing this. Why are you doing that? Sometimes escapism and rolling the dice can lead to disarray.
What do I think? I mean, I've never done a homebrew character, so I have no experience with it. from the description you've given me though. In regards to the race side of things, that doesn't really affect any sort of side of the game. But in regards to maybe the numbers, yeah, you can kind of see them. You can kind of see someone who doesn't want to be sort of fallible to sort of like failure, kind of going, oh, I can read these numbers in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that kind of like if you're building those sort of characters, it's got to come with some form of maturity to a degree. Like you've got to kind of get used to the idea that you're kind of a race, and you know everything organic in nature has flaws. So you know you gotta be sort of humble to that to a degree.
Yeah.
You know, humbles the idea that you ain't gonna be great at everything, and some situations you're gonna be crap at. And to be honest, like having played with Goldrick and Navarre, I can kind of learning their limitations. It's more interesting. Like some numbers you kind of going, oh, they're quite low. I can't do much of those, which kind of makes whatever situation you're in a bit more challenging. So you got to kind of think outside the box and go, how can I work this out within my remit, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. And it makes for interesting gameplay. Not in the basis that, of course, one wants to win. One wants to win the game and to do as much as they can do and survive as long as possible. I get it. But it's fascinating for a game that myself and yourself have praised with so much freedom and so much immersion, so much possibilities, that the groundworks and the foundations of reality within a different reality adds this necessary realism, not to ground the game, but to show everyone that it is still another world and actions have these consequences. It might make different things happen, but if there's no rules within the gameplay, if there's nothing to push off of, you know, and no, I wouldn't say there's a sky. There is no sky. There's no limitations in D&D, but there's got to be a floor to push off of. Then it's just going to be chaos, you know? And, for example, you walk into a city and there's knights everywhere. I'm gonna slightly change the story. I don't know if they're gonna be angry at me for saying this, but I'm gonna. So, my first D&D campaign was with a group of a good group of friends of mine, and it's still ongoing now. But it's not on camera. We do it off camera. We don't film it. We don't record the audio, and that's the way it will stay, I reckon, for now. And one of the characters was a rogue who really liked to push his luck.
Oh, right.
And it's yeah. And it's
sorry, we'll be called out.
Sorry, mate. But you know, it wasn't necessarily us what my character would do. There was sort of like a cheeky look in his eye, just like, I'm going to try and throw the session off to see if he'll let me, or to see if, like, you know, he's probably going to be nice. He's not going to give consequence to this, you know? So sometimes I've had it like his character lashes out at another character, and then the personality of that NPC has just been just like, I'm going to let you off with a warning, you know? And that was true and genuine to that character. But he was I'm sorry for laughing. He was in a room. What the hell? What was that doing? He was in a room surrounded by guards, and there was not much to eat. There was only rations. And the other character in the time was just like, let's just have the rations and be done with it. And Will's character was just like, no, I don't want just these rations. I want more rations. So he went up to the guard. He's just like, sir, I demand more rations. He threw the rations on the floor, and it's just like, these aren't worth my time. I want more. And he was just like, haha, this is funny. So the guard turned around. The rules and the consequence being, I'm a guard. I'm here for authority. I'm here to control and maintain order. The guard said, if you do that one more time, I'm going to throw you in a cell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you do not disrespect me. You're mocking me. That's just like disgusting behavior. So then he turns around to me and he says, well, I turn around, I pull my trousers down, and I shit on his shoe.
Oh boy.
Okay. And then he starts laughing, and I just give him the most sincere look. I'm like, okay, can I do that? And he's like, no, I was joking. Like, no, you said it. There's no backing out now. And I said, roll the fucking dice. And he was nervous, like, okay. And he rolls it. He rolls actually quite well. I got him to do a constitution throw to see if it wasn't just gonna like be a forced shit, you know. So he shat in front of him, and I did what the guard would do. I told him, I gave him a warning, so I picked him up by his collar and I threw him in a cell. And he was in prison for the rest of the session.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. I warned him. I said, just like, it's a guard, mate. You fuck around, find out. And he's like, all right. And he did. And I threw him in. It was great. After the session ended, he actually said, I bet you didn't write that cell until moments before the session. You just like specifically designed that for me. I'm like, maybe. It's like, I wonder if Will's going to piss off a guard. Maybe I'll write the cell block conveniently here.
Oh, man.
I sort of predicted it, like, do something like antisocial. So that's, again, it's an example of a DM just being like, I know what my players could do, so I'm like counteracting that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that realism, you know. Like, fuck around, find out, you know. Whereas in a world just being like, oh, the DM's my friend, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to get away with it. You know, I can do whatever I want. It's still a world. It is, yes, it's a world of fiction, but there have to be these things in place to dictate what the narrative could be and what these limitations are, so you can figure out ways to break it, or if there is ways to break it, you know. And yes, I've had people be just like, I want to be a homebrew character, I want to be like this and that, and it's great. I'd like to figure these things out. And would I like to be a unique class and a unique character? Hell yeah, I think that would be fantastic fun. But you gotta make it fair, because making things unfair and biased in a game where it's supposed to be fair for all, everyone has a fair chance with the dice, and it shouldn't be biased and say, like, you can always take the highest score and you can always do better, and you'll always take the lowest score and you'll always do worse.
Yeah.
You know, it's a game of freedom and capability and theatrics, you know. And that's what makes it so fun for me all the time, you know. It's like, the story is great fun to design. I remember you wanted to design your own D&D story at one point, didn't you?
Yeah. I haven't done that yet. I'm still a work in progress. I've suggested a few ideas, but still a work in progress on that front.
I wonder, as a question to you, because I'm going to pick up on this, what led you, as a D&D player, to want to have the urge to be a dungeon master? From player to game runner, what was your thought process? Why did you want to do that?
I think it's sort of interesting in regards to that you don't have a board. It seems bizarre in that front. And, you know, my suggestion was to play with the family sort of thing.
Yeah.
And what's good about D&D is, like, you can kind of put people in situations to sort of see what happens to a degree, and also the dice, all that stuff. And I was more curious. I was more going, what imagination does my family have?
Interesting.
you know, what character would my mom create? What character my sister would create? What character would my dad create, sort of thing? And how would they walk around this sort of world? But it's still a work in progress. I'm still not pretty organised yet. I think it's now going to change of theme. It could be a Halloween thing now, but we're not quite sure yet. Still got to organise people. But yeah, my sister came up with a very random wizard. I can't remember his name. But yeah, my sister was the only one who successfully created the character.
Oh, nice.
My parents still haven't done that yet.
That's pretty cool that you want to play D&D with your family. I know my dad would. I think my brother would, but I don't think it would be for my mum. I don't think it would be her cup of tea. But it's a game that I've noticed people have been quite open about. People have really wanted to try. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's not about how you play it; it's who you play it with.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily the experience. It could be a stellar story. It could be just like critically acclaimed, pre-written, like Curse of Strahd levels of just like magnum opus. But you play it with a bunch of dickheads, and it just ruins the experience, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's supposed to be fun. And that's the agency of it. You should be able to do what you want to do. The dungeon master and other players shouldn't turn around and go like, you should be doing this all the time. Like, let me be me. I'm going to do whatever I want, you know? Granted, there are situations where the dungeon master turns around and just been like, yo, okay, contextually, that don't make sense for your character, or right now it's their turn, or like, hold up, you can't because your character's done that too many times, and you've got to wait for that ability to reset. There's balance as well, and that's what intrigued me as a player to want to be a dungeon master. That was the origin of that. I wanted to engage in the mechanics of it. As a player, I loved creating this world and discovering these secrets, and I always wanted to create a story. I just never, and if you watch our first art agenda episode, The Journey from Paper to Screen, I talk a lot about how I struggled as an author, as a writer, to create stories, simplistic and condensed down. But I think Dungeons and Dragons really suited my writing style because it became quite chaotic and the descriptions were just wham. And I just enjoyed really going deep with the lore and the narrative and going as integral and specific as possible, you know, creating all these environments. But it wasn't tailored to my own story where it had to be from A to B. I felt as though I wanted to create a story where the direction could surprise me as well. I had all of these details and like, I can't wait for them to discover that. I can't wait for them to engage in that. It'll be really cool if they decide to engage in that. I want to see where they want to go. And I had this whole realm figured out. It started off as a one-shot, but then I started getting so compelled in the story that it just broadened out. And I kept on writing all of this stuff in the spiel and getting all of them to write their backstories and me weaving that and making the world even more detailed as well.
5-minute novels.
Eh?
The old 5-minute novels.
Yeah, you know.
It'd be 5 minutes. I was want to write a short story.
Oh,
boy, I've got a right phase of this now.
I fucking overdo it. I definitely remember my one shot. The one shot turned into a full campaign in the end, and then that full campaign inspired my entire realm, my entire world, as it were. So I just couldn't stop myself. I couldn't do it. It was supposed to be like months in the planning, and then months in the planning turned into a year, and then a year turned into 2 years, and I was just like, shit, maybe I should just start. You know, maybe I should just start this campaign. And I started it, and of course, it wasn't the way I envisioned it would be. I remember I made just like this tent for them to go to, and I made it as gold and red as possible. and something you might recognize if you watched the Lost Omens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the tent. Yeah, I made it so captivating, and the players just like meh, and then they just walked to the tavern. I was like, fuck, fuck, oh no, and that was my first campaign ever, and I was just like, hey, look at this, guys, don't you want to interact with that? And the players were like, no. I was like, oh fuck, okay. And then they started going just like, okay, well, we're gonna go off and we're gonna go on venturing, we're gonna go off and find some enemies to slay. And I'm just like, nah, I can roll with this, I can do this. They're going to go off and they're going to do their own thing. And I'm not going to punish them for it. I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with them and see where their story goes. If they want to be adventurers, then yeah,
I'm
sure.
not going to post for them yet.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun. It really is. For me, it makes sense. Like, if you do dumb things in D&D, and if you go off and you're just like, oh, I'm going to do this impossible thing, just like, yeah, of course. It's probably going to be more probable that your character suffers for it.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you go off and you try to go to these extents to really convey how much you like your character, it's like, and do all of these things in the world that's accurate to them, I just get so captivated by that magnificence and that representation, you know?
Mm. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting sort of having played with Lost Omens. Like we will have a different sort of thought process and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, the situations are dealt with differently, and like trying to sort of work out how someone's thinking in this situation and sort of stuff is all quite interesting to me in my mind. So I quite like sort of making the sort of like sort of hard, tough decisions or sort of stuff, and then sort of seeing how they're then washed off on the group, and they go, oh, okay, so maybe we should try something else, or try something different, or sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or like I'll test and sort of go, do I just push out a little bit more, and then sort of get a feel for that, you know, how far can I go, and then bring it back again, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get that, and I never used to as a player think I could do that. Like, oh, shouldn't I? You know, I really want to just like beat this villain up, or I really want to say what I really think about this NPC. I really want to do that, but sometimes you feel as though I can't. Like in a video game, like no, I physically wouldn't be able to do that, or like in real life, I wouldn't be able to do that. But you can. It is just be like, I object. You're an asshole, sir. I hate you. And the dungeon master turns around and goes like, "You calling them out? Okay, let's go."
Mm.
Or
you'll call that roll the dice.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Or when someone goes, help me, and then the person goes, nah, and walks away.
Yeah.
I
stand
by what I did.
Yeah.
Oh dear, hilarious, but I sure as hell did not create drama though, bro.
What you mean?
Huh? I don't know what you mean.
Nah. I was fine. Well. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for a time I stopped playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's only because, and this is the caveat to the game, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's not a game that you can sit down and just like open up and play an hour of, like a video game, or maybe 1.5 hours of a board game. Dungeons and Dragons, because there's so much to do and there's almost no limitations, it goes on for a long time, at least 3 or 4 hours per session, maybe even more. So players have to commit to either a weekly or a monthly thing where they come out and they grab their sheets, sit down for a fair few hours, and this dungeon master has to prepare all these things, all these maps, all of these notes, all of these NPCs and creatures and monsters and enemies. It's a lot. And
I probably just say that overwhelm people, so people want to try and give it a go. Like, if you want to start, like, as a DM or something like that, you know, so sort of write a foundation of a story first.
Oh
and
yeah.
then, and then get a group of people to come around and then just roll some dice and see what happens. I think it's probably the best way to
Yeah,
start
it wasn't
off.
necessarily the direction I was going was
Yeah.
just like, honestly, that doesn't sound nearly as bad as it is. If you want to give DMing a go, oh, absolutely go for it. All you need is simple notes. Don't overdo it. I overdo it because I just love. I always overcomplicate and overexplain things.
Yeah.
That's me. That's me as a person. So don't form your basis of D&D off of me. But if you want to give DMing a go, write a few simple notes. And as long as you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you've got all the capabilities planned out for what a character could or could not do, or there's a tree over there, what are they going to do to roll for that? Have a few basic notes as well. A DM screen, have one of these, have one of a Dungeon Master screen. They've got the cheat codes on it. Trust me, it's good. It saved me a fair few times and all. How much is this mead? A free silver. Yeah.
I knew all along. I swear.
Fuck yeah! It's on the house. But if you're a player, as long as you don't even have to show up to every session. You know, do turn up. Like, oh, I can't make it this week. I'm really busy. This, that, and the other. Like, yeah, cool. We'll run the session, and the Dungeon Master will work something out. You know. It's not as taxing as people think it is, but for a while I stopped because I had so much going on with university. I was doing my teacher training as well. Other stuff was going on. Life became very full on. And it's not, and I go into this a little bit in Session X Part 1, available on MJ Media. Go give it a watch if you haven't already. At least watch it. To watch the first 6 or 7 minutes of the video, where I explain the origins of me returning to D&D and starting the Lost Omens campaign. And that was because I was in a low place. I wasn't happy. I barely had time to do anything anymore. And it wasn't until I hopped onto one game and I spoke to Richie, actually, and it was me pitching what D&D was. He said, I've always wanted to give it a go. I played it once before. It didn't really go well. I don't know. And he said, like, it could, you know what? We could start something at the Wyvern. There might be something. And he was just like, oh, it'll be good for you to get to the Wyvern and do D&D, because I know you like that sort of thing. And I've always wanted to give it a go. So I was just like, yeah, maybe. I shot my boss a message and I was just like, yeah, mate, like, I might be thinking about doing this in the event room. Would that be all right? And he said, yeah, go for it. Go for it. Give it a go. And then I gathered the troops. I gathered, Richie came along, LJ came along, Ben came along. It was originally just those 3 at the start.
I came.
You came in on the second.
Especially late.
You came in on session 2.
Yeah.
The second session. This isn't session 2, part 1 and part 2. This is the original session 2, which was last year. You came in the second session.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you did. You definitely did, right? Yes. Yes, you definitely did. But yeah, they gave it a go. They liked it. The second session came along. That's when yourself and Lizzie came along. Mm-hmm. And then the third session came along. And then that was when... Was it the third session? No, I think it was the 4th session. That's when Alex came along. Mm-hmm. It was the 4th session, yeah. Because that was when the bugbear came into it. Yeah. The what now? Goldrick's eyes.
Yeah.
And then by then it was a cast of 6 people and everyone was just getting so into it. And I really started embracing the nerdy side of myself and I just went for it. I started going for the voices. I started describing the world. Really got interested in their plans. My gosh, the plans were great. And I started... It wasn't that I fell out of love with D&D. I almost fell out of love with myself. I wasn't giving myself the time and the respect that I loved this escapism, that I did, that I wanted, that I didn't feel like I deserved this escapism.
I think you're touching a point that, like you were like busy when that video came out, and I think I vaguely remember the history of like when that video came out, all that sort of stuff. I think the point I think you're trying to get was like, as much as life is busy right now, like as a viewer to you, sort of like when life is busy, you just make sure to take some time out for yourself.
Spot on.
To maybe sort of play D&D as we're on the subject, or go out and meet your mates just to vent. In a caveat that in person, like, don't speak to mates online.
Yeah,
in person, like make time to meet them in person, however busy you are.
Yeah.
There's been a few guys as of recently who I've known who've gone through some issues and have kind of isolated off, and you don't know what's going on with them, and then you find out months later again, I went through some tough times again. Dude, you could have spoke to me like ages ago. Because at least just like I don't need to help you as such, but at least I know what's going on with you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. But
no, and I and I don't want to get too off topic with this, but for a game that is so much about escapism, it's a testament to how much you should be giving yourself those moments to take yourself away from it. You're sitting down, you're having a laugh with your mates, and you're literally jumping into a world someone's taken the love and care to create for you. So, like, the DM is there for you, for your company, and your company provides them with entertainment and love as well. It's so nice, which is why I loved the game so much. So when I was really getting back into it, I remember I did a couple of online sessions with you guys, and it just didn't feel the same. No,
they definitely weren't the same.
No, and it's all right because sometimes we couldn't, because I mean, I don't necessarily. Yeah, like when I was living away, I was living somewhere else. I had to do these sessions online, and they were okay. They were very brief, not as big or as bold as the sessions that you see on YouTube now. Not to say that they weren't, they didn't get the time. So when I eventually decided that no, I just really only want to do these in person, and I started to just really get excited for the sessions again. And I was just like, oh my gosh, we're heading to a point where I know this thing in the story, in the narrative rather, is gonna happen. Like, I can't wait to see their reactions. It's gonna be so much fun. Or like, I can't wait to see what they do next. How are they gonna talk to the mayor?
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen with Falinil and his backstory? What's gonna happen with Radic? It's just like, I don't know. As someone who's creating the story, I still don't know what's gonna happen. Because I could plan like some elaborate scheme for a character, but something could happen in the game, like their character could pass away. Or they could ultimately say, like, I'm going to be a fisherman out of nowhere. And I'm just be like, okay. Okay. Right, okay, cool. Yeah. If that's your character's destiny, then sure, whatever. But it's just the unpredictability of it and the levels of chaos that you can almost control and harness. Just be like, whoa there, like, it just took me away from reality and just made me just have raw fun again. And that's why D&D as a game is so bloody special to me and to many people as well. Because I will get to a summary of it. It's not just escapism. It's not just immersion. It's inspiration. It is.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just sort of a social as well. Like you kind of force yourselves to meet up to sort of carry on the story sort of thing. Like you kind of have to meet in person to do something.
Yeah, I get that, and it's like you're inspired to see where your character goes next.
Yeah,
You're inspired to see what happens to the story. I'm inspired to keep creating this story. As long as it is interesting to people, I will create it. And to go even further, as long as I find the story interesting, I will create it. You know, I honestly want to do.
boring now. Just kill
Fucking kill you all off.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
done. No, I'm not going to be like that. It's like I want to do this for my entire life. You know, just Dungeons and Dragons in general. You know, doesn't have to be on camera. Doesn't have to be on audio or whatever. I just want to play this game forever because it's just so many different possibilities. I could be a half orc sorcerer one time. I could be a gnome ranger the next. I could be a fairy barbarian that burns the whole fucking village down.
What's that? What?
I'm gonna get into that now because I feel like it's time. I prepped a one shot one time, and it was gonna be a spin off of one thing, one and done, where the premise was you go along to this village, it's getting raided by bandits, and you basically you got to stop them, you got to save the day. And I planned all these things about what could happen after the village is saved, like some miniature dialogues and this sort of stuff, you know.
Well, it's seriously, it's came out of left field. Like Liz is usually kind of on it, and Liz again.
No,
you know
but
what?
that's
Today
what...
I'll burn everything down.
but her character was chaotic, so she went accurate to her character.
Yeah.
She picked up a torch and thought, like, I'm gonna like scare this guy off of the building.
Yeah.
Threw the torch, and I was just like, the roof is made of thatch. And every round, I was just like, that's how big the fire is. That's how big the fire is burning this whole fucking house down. And then another character looked at the fire and assumed, oh, that's what we're doing. So picked up a Molotov and went yeet at the tavern. And I was like, oh. And that's where we end this one shot with the whole village burning to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
There was literally nothing I could do because you defeated all the bandits.
Yeah.
And all of the villagers were dying in the fire. I was just like, oh my fucking God. There goes my plans for that. I was just like, I've got nothing left. We're done.
Yeah.
Well done. That's it. That's the one shot. We're done.
Yeah.
And everyone afterwards was just like, good job. It was like, well, that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
oh God, it was fucking hilarious though. I rolled 3 nat 1s in a row. That you saw my reaction firsthand. Basically, one of the characters wanted to stealth up on some of the bandits, and I rolled a perception roll for every one of the bandits that were in eye shot of this gnome ranger running in. They all rolled a nat 1. It was instantly a critical failure for them. So I was just like, what the fuck are they doing? Are they just fucking picking their nose or something? They might as well be. I was livid. I was just like, yeah, none of them see you. You can get away with what you're about to do next. And I was, oh God. But that made the story. That made the story what it is today. A very famous staple in the one-shots, which you won't see the last of. There will be, hopefully, in a minor announcement for those of you that are a Lost Omen and a Me Time fan. This bit of information is for you exclusively. Get ready because a one shot is on its way. Ho! Boom! Wow, that's cool. That is an exciting announcement. Yes, you've seen a lot of the Lost Omens, but get ready for something else. Whoa. I'm cool. I'm hip. I'm down with the kids. That was cringe as fuck.
Definitely a teacher.
Yeah. Shut up. Was What's up, homies? God, that was. I want to escape. Fall into the floor now. I mean, like, is there anything else that you really want to talk about or touch on D&D? Because I mean, it was just like a passing conversation about our experiences with it as well. I don't think I've had situations in D&D where things have been difficult before, but I feel like I don't necessarily want to jump into that sort of thing because I don't really think it's relevant to the conversation, you know.
Is that what people difficult or
To problem players?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you deal with them, but is what it's sort of.
Yeah, just tell them to
You
snap
get-
out of it, I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah.
You know? Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're still playing D&D, so you know it's clearly a game that you enjoy. It's a game that hooks people's attention, evidently, from someone who didn't know about D&D last year and is now playing it on a YouTube channel regularly, basically every other week if we can. And from someone who discovered the game back in like 2018. Yeah, something like that, 2018, 2019. And I played it ever since. And I want to play it for the rest of my life, you know.
I still find it funny, like when we were having a discussion, having a discussion about starting this podcast and all that sort of stuff. I was like, oh yeah, so we're gonna do me time on camera. I was like, camera, okay.
Yeah.
We'll go for it. And Matt drops, yeah, D&D, yeah, I enjoyed it, yeah. We're gonna film that as well. Like, oh, are we? Okay. I guess I'm on camera both now.
Yeah, we know we do those thing with the Lost Omens. Yeah. And I know I've psyched you up for me time on camera. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Okay, you know that you go home and you chill out in your bedroom in the lounge with your family? Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? No! Wait!
Yeah.
Hello, Elliot! Wait! Oh, God.
man.
Nah. That's fun, though. That's... Again, this one's a bit special because you're learning the origins of a lot of how and why we film this stuff on the channel, because we enjoy it and we want other people to share in our enjoyment as well. And it is that creative flair that we sell. We want people to embrace themselves and learn how to be themselves, you know.
Yeah.
No matter what form that journey goes on, as long as you get there, as long as you embrace it and have fun with being imaginative and creative and do all the things that you want to do and create all you want to do, then you're doing it right. I mean, I'm not even there. This is a journey. MJ Media, Me Time, Lost Omens is a journey. I'm learning things along the way. And I doubt I'll fully ever get there, but I'm going on it because I like it. It's a good, fun journey, and it's me, you know?
Oh man, we both are. We're 20 episodes in, and again, I'm still adapting sort of the camera and still adapting sort of voices. So I was like, okay, how do I speak on this camera? How do I speak on this microphone? I'm going to learn, try and hope for the best.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always a learning curve, and it helps. It certainly brought us.
How do I advertise? That's a new one.
Eh?
How do I advertise? That's a new one. Like trying to sort of like push them forward. How best can I push this out?
Yeah, I suppose so. I get what you mean there. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else on D&D or?
No. I think just. I encourage people to play it.
Play it. Play it.
Yeah.
If this podcast episode wasn't enough for you to persuade it, watch the Lost Omens. No, damn it! I said I'd stop that. Watch the Lost Omens now. Ooh, why don't you watch the thing? Yeah. Come on, give it a go. It will surprise you. It's not just role play and rolling dice and figuring out maths problems to you know, see if you manage to hit an enemy or not. You know, it's more than that.
I mean, there's not awful lot of maths in it. There's a little bit more.
Roll the dice, add your score, you're done.
Yeah.
Solve this algebraic formula to defeat Alduin.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue to talk about what we're talking about next week.
Yes.
Ooh, yes, you remember, right?
Definitely.
LOL!
Yeah,
you don't, do you?
I keep doing it. It's like we get to it and it was like, I don't know.
Womp. Episode 22 is dropping next week, and it will conclude the game agenda, and we are talking about Skyrim.
Yeah. Another classic.
Huh?
Another classic.
Oh, that was good. And I think the Skyrim one was obvious. Again, obvious to us. Because it's a bit of a bridge. It's a bit of an in-betweeny with D&D and Halo Reach. It's like, almost, it is a video game. But yes, you got Baldur's Gate 3, which is D&D the game. But before Baldur's Gate 3 came along, before the D&D thing blew up, and around the time of Halo Reach, there was this game called Skyrim. And yes, it was glitchy as hell. Yes, there were so many memes from it. Yes, the story in the final battle was ridiculously easy, but it's such a fun game, and we got to talk about it. Yeah. We got it because it's still playable now. It is. Yeah. People still play it now. I mean, like, everyone is asking, where's Elder Scrolls 6? Where's the continuation? Will that ever happen?
Oh, yeah, I'm wondering that's where I started.
We'll see. Apparently, Elder Scrolls 6 is it's in a playable state. According to an inside source, Elder Scrolls 6 is playable. But yeah, I'll believe it when I see it as well.
Yeah.
We shall see. But until that day, and until next week, same time, 7 o'clock on YouTube and Spotify, we will see you when we're looking at you. Take it easy. Lots of love. Like, share, subscribe, and I don't know, play D&D.
Yeah. See you soon. Have a good week.
I got a 19. He said the thing. He said the dead meme. Hey.